On February 28, 2026, coordinated military strikes hit Iranian infrastructure. In response, Tehran took a single action that instantly paralyzed global maritime trade. They closed the Strait of Hormuz. This map shows the Strait of Hormuz. At its narrowest point, it is a bottleneck, just 29 miles wide. Yet every single day, 20 million barrels of oil squeeze through this tiny geographic gap. That is 1/5 of all the oil consumed on Earth, effectively cut off overnight. A blockade here starts a very specific countdown, what analysts call the economic clock of war. If the passage reopens in a few days, the economic damage stays localized to the military theater. If it stretches into weeks or months, the shockwaves expand to crush the global macroeconomy. To map exactly how those shockwaves travel, we are tracking real-time data from the International Energy Agency, the International Monetary Fund, and Defense Intelligence Networks. Shutting down this specific geographic bottleneck physically severs the primary artery of modern global trade. The immediate casualty is the global energy supply. Brent crude, the benchmark used to price oil worldwide, shot past $100 a barrel. Simultaneously, massive shipments of liquefied natural gas, or LNG, natural gas cooled to a liquid state for safe transport, became trapped inside Qatar's export terminals. Look at the sheer scale of the LNG carriers stranded at sea in this image. The paralysis of these vessels threatens Asian economies. Japan, South Korea, and China rely almost entirely on these exact maritime routes to keep their power grids online and their cities illuminated. But the energy shortage rapidly accelerates a secondary, hidden crisis. The Strait of Hormuz is also a massive latent choke point for the global food system. This image shows dock workers loading sacks of urea. Urea is a nitrogen-rich compound and the most widely used agricultural fertilizer on the planet. 1/3 of the world's seaborne urea trade must pass through the strait. When those ships are blocked, crop yields across the globe are instantly threatened. Modern agriculture relies entirely on the continuous shipping of fossil fuels and their byproducts. Cut the energy supply chain and you automatically trigger a global food security emergency. As physical supply chains fail, the damage bleeds directly into financial markets. Within days of the blockade, trillions of dollars in wealth evaporated. South Korea's stock market alone shed 18% of its total value in a matter of trading sessions. This chart shows how the supply shock completely derailed monetary policy. Central banks in the US and Europe were planning to cut interest rates. Instead, the sudden scarcity of goods and energy caused inflation to spike vertically, forcing them to scrap those plans. Economists are looking at the rationing seen in this historical photo and comparing the 2026 crisis directly to the 1970s oil embargo. They're warning of severe stagflation, an economic condition where high inflation combines with stagnant economic growth and rising unemployment. This dynamic has killed the Goldilocks era of investing, a period where growth was steady and inflation was low enough to keep markets comfortable. Now, the market is aggressively split. Defense and energy sectors are surging, while companies reliant on cheap shipping and consumer spending are collapsing under the weight of input costs. The physical closure of a single waterway has forced a repricing of risk across every asset class on Earth, bringing a hard stop to an era of predictable, low-cost globalization. Most geopolitical shocks fade quickly, but a sustained disruption of this magnitude changes corporate behavior permanently. Nations and corporations are actively abandoning just-in-time supply chains, a highly optimized system where goods are created and shipped only exactly when needed to save inventory costs. The new operating metric is structural resilience. Governments are prioritizing supply chain redundancy and domestic security over pure economic efficiency. This chart illustrates how investors are adapting their portfolios to this new reality. They are extending bond maturities to lock in yields before potential rate cuts, actively deploying excess cash, and reallocating away from consumer discretionary stocks into real assets like commodities and real estate. By adding direct exposure to domestic energy producers and the defense sector, investors are building buffers. These specific diversifiers protect wealth in a macro environment where open sea lanes and global peace can no longer be guaranteed. The global economy is actively rewiring itself for conflict rather than efficiency. Understanding the mechanics of this massive shift is the only way investors can adapt survive, and protect their wealth.